A powerful earthquake measuring 7.0 magnitude on the Richter scale struck Turkey on the morning of January 24, 2023. The tremor was felt throughout the country, with the strongest shaking reported in the capital, Ankara. The quake was also felt in neighboring Greece and Bulgaria. There were no immediate reports of casualties or damage.
Hello guys, welcome to our channel, Info Explainer. In today's video we are going to talk about Turkey's earthquake 2023.
1. What are the causes of the earthquake in Turkey and in Sri? Turkey and Sri Lanka are two countries that are no strangers to earthquakes. In fact, both countries are located in seismically active zones and experience earthquakes on a regular basis. However, the earthquake that struck Turkey on August 17, 2023 was significantly larger and more destructive than any that had come before it. The quake had a magnitude of 7.0 and was followed by numerous aftershocks, some of which were almost as strong as the main quake. The quake caused widespread damage across Turkey, with the most damage being seen in the city of Istanbul. More than 2,000 people were killed and tens of thousands were left homeless. The cause of the earthquake was the movement of the North Anatolian Fault, which is a major fault line that runs through Turkey. The fault line is constantly moving and shifting, and every so often, this movement causes an earthquake. The last major earthquake to occur on the North Anatolian Fault was in 1999, and before that, in 1966. This means that the fault line was well overdue for another earthquake, which is why the 2023 quake was not entirely unexpected. However, what was unexpected was the size and strength of the earthquake. Scientists had predicted that another earthquake would strike the fault line at some point, but they did not expect it to be as large or as destructive as the one that actually occurred. In the aftermath of the quake, there has been a lot of debate about whether or not more could have been done to prepare for it. Some people believe that the Turkish government should have been more proactive in trying to prevent damage, while others believe that there was simply no way to predict or prevent such a large and powerful earthquake. Regardless of the cause, the 2023 earthquake was a tragedy that affected thousands of people. The death toll was high, and the damage was widespread. It will take years for Turkey to fully recover from the quake, but with time, the country will rebuild and become even stronger than before. 2. What are the similarities between both earthquakes? Whereas both the Turkish and Sri Lankan earthquakes of 2023 were devastating natural disasters that claimed many lives, there are some similarities between the two events. For one, both earthquakes occurred in densely populated areas, which made the death tolls particularly high. In addition, both earthquakes struck without warning, causing widespread panic and destruction. Another similarity between the two earthquakes is that they both struck during the daytime. This meant that people were going about their daily activities when the earthquake struck, and many were caught off guard. This made rescue efforts particularly difficult, as many people were trapped under rubble. Finally, both earthquakes caused extensive damage to infrastructure. In the aftermath of the earthquakes, both Turkey and Sri Lanka were left with destroyed buildings, roads, and bridges. This made it difficult for rescue workers to access many areas, and made it hard for people to return to their homes. While there are some similarities between the two earthquakes, there are also some differences. For one, the Turkish earthquake was much larger in magnitude than the Sri Lankan earthquake. This meant that the damage caused by the Turkish earthquake was much more extensive. Additionally, the Turkish earthquake struck a more rural area than the Sri Lankan earthquake, which made it difficult for people to receive help. Despite the differences between them, the two earthquakes of 2023 were both tragic events that had a profound impact on the people of Turkey and Sri Lanka. The devastation caused by the earthquakes is still felt by many people today, and the memory of those events will remain with those who experienced them for the rest of their lives. 3. What did happen in that earthquakes? A deadly earthquake of magnitude 6.8 struck Turkey's Elazig province on January 24, 2020. The earthquake caused widespread damage and loss of life, with a death toll reported to be over 40. Elazig is located in eastern Turkey, close to the border with Syria. The earthquake struck at 8:55 p.m. local time, with the epicenter located near the town of Sivris. Tremors were felt across a wide area, including the capital Ankara and the city of Istanbul. Dozens of aftershocks followed the initial earthquake, the strongest of which had a magnitude of 5.7. The earthquake caused extensive damage to buildings and infrastructure. In Elazig, around 1,000 buildings were reported to have collapsed or been severely damaged. Hundreds of people were trapped under the rubble and rescue operations were underway to try and reach them. The death toll from the earthquake was reported to be over 40, with many more people injured. The majority of the fatalities were in Elazig, but 4 people were also killed in neighboring Malatya province. The earthquake came as a shock to the people of Turkey, who are all too familiar with the devastating effects of earthquakes. In 1999, a magnitude 7.4 earthquake struck the city of Izmit, killing around 17,000 people. More recently, in 2011, a magnitude 7.0 earthquake hit the eastern city of Van, killing over 600. 4. How government manage in that situation. In the wake of a natural disaster, government officials are tasked with managing the relief and recovery efforts. This can be a daunting task, particularly in the case of a large earthquake like the one that hit Turkey in 2023. In the days and weeks after the quake, government officials must coordinate with relief agencies, provide aid to those affected, and begin the process of rebuilding. The first priority for government officials in the aftermath of an earthquake is to ensure the safety of those affected. This means rescuing people who are trapped, providing medical assistance to the injured, and ensuring that people have access to food and water. In the case of the Turkey earthquake, many people were left homeless and had to be relocated to temporary shelters. The government also had to set up relief camps to provide basic necessities like food and water. Once the immediate needs of those affected have been taken care of, government officials can begin to focus on the long-term recovery process. This includes rebuilding infrastructure, such as roads and bridges, that was damaged in the earthquake. The government will also need to provide financial assistance to people who have lost their homes or businesses. In the case of the Turkey earthquake, the government set up a special fund to help with the reconstruction efforts. The recovery process after an earthquake can be a long and difficult one. However, with proper planning and coordination, the government can play a vital role in helping those affected to rebuild their lives. The earthquake in Turkey was a devastating event that left many people dead or injured. The death toll from the quake is still rising, and the damage to infrastructure and buildings is extensive. It is not yet known how this earthquake came to be, but scientists are investigating the possibility that it was caused by a fault line in the Earth's crust. It is still too soon to know the full extent of the damage or the death toll from this earthquake, but it is clear that it was a major disaster for the people of Turkey. That's it for today's video. I hope you learned something from this video. If you learned, please subscribe our channel and hit that like button.